trainers! Hello, welcome to another episode of Rating All Alolan Forms. It's the last episode. We've done them all now. Well, not yet. But at the end of this episode, we will have done all the Alolan Forms. How sad. And then you have to wait for all the other Alolan Pokemon in like 2018 or something when we finally get there. But before that, we're just going to talk about the last 6 of them. The first one we're going to discuss is Geodude. Now, Geodude is the Alolan form that the only one that I hadn't seen before starting to play the game. So when I finally walked into this guy, I was like, what am I looking at? Like, I had no clue what the fuck that was. Alolan Geodude is like a little guy with eyebrows and spiky hair, and he looks like, I don't know, like a bad guy or something? I'm not really sure. So Alolan Geodude is a rock and electric type. Now, I really like that typing. The reason it is an electric type is that the Geodude are made from a different type of rock in the Alolan region. They're made from a magnetic type of rock, which makes them the electric type. Funnily enough, there are these areas on Alolan Geodude's body, like its eyebrows and the little thingies on its head, that are more magnetic than other parts, and they attract iron sand, which creates a little black facial hair that it has, and I think that is actually kind of hilarious. I like super weird, but I love it. For some reason, Geodude doesn't have these actual hands anymore. It now has hands like this, which is weird, but still kind of cool. I really dig Alolan Geodude because I think mainly because it wasn't spoiled for me, and the first time I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that is cool. So I give it 4 out of 5 comfy flowers. Then at level 25, Geodude evolves into Graveler. Now this is the regular Graveler. Looks a bit bland now, because the Alolan form, this guy, looks super cool. It has arm hair. It has arm hair. Guys, it has arm hair. What the fuck? It's a rock with arm hair. I love it. Now, there's not much of a difference between regular Graveler and Alolan Graveler apart from the obvious facial hair, and it has Dravite crystals on its body. Now, Dravite is a type of magnetic rock. Graveler actually eats these Dravite stones, and that is how they come to stick out of their body. I think Alolan Graveler is pretty epic looking. I'm gonna give it 4 out of 5. Yeah. Now, this is where shit gets real. We all know Golem, the guy Graveler evolves into when you trade it with a friend or not a friend or someone. When you trade it, in Alola, it looks like this. Now this man is completely beautiful. It has a mustache. Hello. Now, I can't tell if the thing here is a beard or chest hair, but I kind of want it to be chest hair because that would be hilarious since it also has like arm hair and shit. Actually, Golem doesn't, but Graveler does. Golem now has really tiny arms. It's like a T-Rex. It just can't really do shit. It's just like meh. Now Golem has these big rocks on its back, and those kind of function like a rocket. In the middle of those big rocks is a smaller rock, and it can launch that rock into the distance at opponents, at anyone it wants to. But you know, sometimes because it like launches that rock, it won't have a rock. And then it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab a Geodude, throw it in there. I don't know how it does that with its tiny ass arms, but it does it, and then it launches the Geodude into the distance. And I don't think that is a way to treat your children. You need some parenting advice, Golem. I'm just saying. I think Alolan Golem and honestly the entire Geodude line has definitely improved in the Alolan region because I just think it looks really awesome, even though they're really into the human features in Alola, aren't they? They are like, let's give them eyebrows. Let's give them a haircut. I don't mind personally, but I see a pattern. I see a pattern. I give it 5 out of 5. Next up is Gross Boy, Grimer. Now, Grimer has always been a bit of a meh Pokemon. It was always like associated with Team Rocket and whatever. It was a gross Pokemon, but then this happened. It became green with a slimy ass beard. In Alola, the Grimer and Muck were kind of like imported from the Kanto region to get rid of all the grossness in Alola because people made a mess out of Alola. It was a bunch of trash, and they were like, you know what? Gonna get those Pokemon here to clean that shit up. Sadly though, because usually Grimer feeds on sludge, there was no sludge, so it had to start just eating the garbage the way it was. This caused a mutation in its body, which made it the new colors that it is. Grimer also has these type of teeth, but they're not actual teeth, they are toxin crystals, and people don't really know how to break down these toxins, and they're just there. But touching them is quite dangerous, so don't do that. And if you pull one out, a very deathly toxic sludge will pour out of there and kill you. A fun thing about the Alolan Grimer though is that it doesn't smell at all. It stores all the toxins in its toxin crystals, and because of that there is no creepy gross smell that we're all used to from the regular Grimer. Grimer is always hungry, it always needs to feed on trash, but sadly there's not always trash around, so it will just eat anything else. 4 out of 5. Next up is one of the coolest Lowland forms. It is Muck, which evolves from Grimer at level 38. Here it is. And here is its Alolan form. It looks like ice cream. Looks like ice cream. Some like pistachio and lemon and strawberry or something. I dig it. So Alolan Muck also has these crystals coming out of its body. These are the crystals that are like made of the toxins. It makes it look like it has teeth and claws and hands, and it's kind of creepy, but it's also very cool. The reason it's so colored is because of the garbage it eats, which creates a chemical reaction inside its body that causes the coloration. Now, just like Grimer, Muck is always hungry, and if it's not fed for a while, it will actually break down its owner's furnishings, even though it's a very nice and friendly Pokemon, surprisingly. It will break down your house. So you better have some trash ready for it to munch on, because otherwise you might have to get a contractor. There's also one little problem with Muck, and that is that it has these toxic spikes in its body. They sometimes break off. And like I mentioned before, very lethal liquid will ooze out of the holes that it creates. Very dangerous. Handle with care. 5 out of 5, hell yeah. And the last Pokemon we're doing today is Marowak. Now, Marowak has made some dank improvements. Even though Marowak has always been a really cool Pokemon, Alolan Marowak is just super cool. Alolan Marowak is a fire and ghost type, which is nothing like its usual ground type. And the reason for this is that when it went to Alola, there was an abundance of grass Pokemon in Alola, and it had to adjust just to survive. Now it became a fire Pokemon, which, as we all know, is very strong against grass types. And the harsh environment of like having so many enemies made it grow very close with its friends, its other Marowak friends, and they created this psychic bond, which caused its form to change. Now, Alolan Marowak has the same bone, although it's slightly different shaped. It rubs this bone against its black fiery thing on its forehead to create a fire, a green fire even. Very crazy. Now, when this flame comes to exist, it will twirl its bone, the flame will come off, and it will chase its enemy, just to spook it. So Alolan Marowak does this fire dancing thing. It is more slender than regular Marowak, and I personally think it's like a really, really cool thing, especially since it's a ghost now, and we all know about the ghost Marowak in Lavender Town. I'm just saying, it was meant to be. It was meant to be. Pokemon Moon, by the way, says its custom is to mourn its lost companions. Mounds of dirt by the side of the road mark the graves of Marowak. It's very, very sad. Also, the bone it's holding is its mother's bone. Cubone and Marowak are the saddest Pokemon. Just to explain about the Alolan part of Marowak, why is it a fire dancer? Because of the fire knife, which is a part of a Samoan traditional dance. This has to do with fire breathers and fire dancers twirling their sticks. And also, it may be based on the concept of mana, which we all know from our video games. It's like a spiritual essence that exists in all objects and people. Hence the ghosting, hence the fire, hence everything. I really like Alolan Marowak. I love the way they thought of its design. It's just really, really cool, and I give it a 5 out of 5. And that concludes our Alolan rating, the rating of the Alolan Pokemon. That is what it concludes. I hope you like this series. I had a lot of fun doing it, and special thanks to my buddy Foof, who did all the custom artwork for all the Lowland Forms. I thought it would be fun to not use the Pokemon, like the official Pokemon art, and just do our own thing, because I love doing my own thing. So, thank you, Foof, for doing that, and I hope you enjoyed this. After seeing all these episodes, who is your favorite Alolan form? Just like, gimme your favorite Alolan form. I think mine is still Alolan Raichu, the cutest boy of them all, and then Vulpix, because Alolan Vulpix is just so cute. I'll see you next time, and have a good one, and that's it. Alola. Bye! Now, there's not much of a difference between Alolan Graveler and regular Graveler. Another fun thing about Alolan Golem, wow. Its custom is to loss...